in the art of crashing weddings.
Sanjay Collins.
Chuck Vendelou.
Seamus O'Toole.
Bobby O'Shea.
I'm ready to get drunk.
John and Jeremy are the masters.
You know how they say we only use 10% of our brains? I think we only use 10% of our hearts.
From New Line Cinema.
Sorry, how are you guys connected to the family again? Uncle Ned's kids.
You know Uncle Ned, Aunt Liz's brother.
Owen Wilson.
I think I'm in love with her.
Vince Vaughn.
I think they get nuts. That's what I think.
Wedding Crashers.
Everything's ready for the quail hunt. Ridiculous. Have you even shot one of these things before?
We are back. Welcome to the Real Buffs podcast. I am your host, Charlie.
And I am Matt.
We took a bit of a hiatus. It's been a very interesting winter, to say the least.
We're hibernating.
Yeah, we were hibernating. I enjoy hibernating. You know, I eat a lot of sticks and mud and pine needles to calm me down.
Potatoes.
Yes, potatoes. But no, a lot going on this winter personally for yours truly as I moved across the country. So now Matt and I are both East Coasters.
We are.
And, you know, having a baby moving across the country. And then we were going to start everything up in March and yours truly ended up getting pneumonia. So had to postpone that. And then obviously life gets busy and everything like that.
I was gone like all of April, yeah.
Yeah. It was good. But it was good seeing you in person last weekend.
It was. We got to meet up and have some beers, and I got to see my niece, and life was good. And even though it snowed the day after I got off a Bahama cruise.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Crime. Absolute hate crime.
In April, too. Like, what the hell are we doing with our lives? But anyways, I digress of all the personal stuff going on. You are here because we have put out a new episode. And our new episode, since we are now releasing in the thick of it in spring, is going to be the one, the only 2005 comedy Wedding Crashers. So yes, we are starting off the year with a bang. And usually we do kind of like to start off with some lighter stuff, some comedy. Mainly that has to do because, you know, it's winter time and it's depressing as fuck when we're releasing stuff for the new year. But you know, it's spring, and I figured, why not? We got to get into it. I haven't done this in 4 months. Let's get into it with a nice comedy. So, needless to say, why we're doing this movie, it's wedding season at this point. It's literally
waiting on an invite, actually, from somebody who might listen to this show and somebody that I've known for 20 years as well.
Is this somebody I know as well, too?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's funny. Glad you said that. Yeah, weddings are coming up. How many weddings you got this year?
Dude, well, I don't know. It depends. If I get that one invitation, then I only have one because all my friends who are getting married have gotten married, you know, in the last couple of years. So as far as I know, I don't have any right now. It's nice.
Well,
it's perfect.
To be fair, if you've got like just none this year, I think the invite that you're talking about, if it's the same person we're thinking of,
I mean, next year.
I think it's probably going to be next year at the very earliest.
I'll have a couple next year because, you know, a couple of my friends were supposed to get married, but they are currently out of the country. So I won't have any this year, which is nice unless any pop up or I get asked to officiate. I've officiated probably about 5 weddings in the last year personally.
Ooh,
so
look at you. Look at you go.
A hot commodity, man.
I mean, I get it. You know, you got those pipes, you've got some chops to you. I mean, why not? You know, like I'd hire you to be the officiant if it wasn't when I got married. My wife's aunt.
That's okay. That's cool. No, that's cool, man. Look,
that's okay. Well, we'll talk about that wedding soon enough. Don't worry about that. Anyways, needless to say, obviously we're doing this movie because it's literally late into April at this point, and we are in the thick of wedding season. So everybody's got their anniversaries coming up and everything. But this movie is celebrating its 20th anniversary, 2005, which can only mean one thing. Yours truly has graduated in 2005 and is going to have a 20-year reunion this year too.
Oh, dang. So, I'm on my 10th wedding anniversary this week, the 24th of April.
Holy shit. Congrats, dude.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? 10 years.
Insane.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I remember because it was obviously Well, no, I left at
Well,
that
I
point,
mean,
remember?
you were there for the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was there from when you guys met and everything. So, so no, it was cool. I remember obviously because it was after I left that you guys tied the knot.
Yes.
So awesome. Well, let's get into the Chat GPT summary. Wedding Crashers is a romantic comedy that follows two lifelong friends, John Beckwith and Jeremy Gray, who spend their weekends crashing weddings to meet women. Their scheme works flawlessly until they crash a high profile political wedding and things get complicated. At the wedding, John falls for Claire Cleary, played by Rachel McAdams, the daughter of a prominent politician, while Jeremy gets entangled with her eccentric sister, Gloria, played by Isla Fisher. The guys are invited to Cleary's family's estate for a weekend. John tries to pursue a real relationship with Claire, who already has a boyfriend. Meanwhile, Jeremy struggles to deal with Gloria's clingy behavior and the awkward, dysfunctional family dynamics. As the weekend progresses, lies unravel, friendships are tested, and both men are forced to reconsider their lifestyles. In the end, the story turns into a heartfelt tale about growing up, being honest, and finding real love. The film blends raunchy humor with genuine emotion and was a major box office hit, known for its quotable lines and strong comedic performances. So, as we usually ask at the beginning of this, Matt, what is your relationship like with this film?
I didn't see it in theaters because I was 15, so I wasn't allowed in a theater to see it yet. But I do remember seeing it like as soon as I could, and this movie's amazing. I love this movie. It's one of the better comedies. I always quote erroneous on both accounts. This movie's in fact, I still quote the painting was a gift, Todd. I'm keeping it. Things like that. I routinely quote this movie in my daily vocabulary to this day. It was great. I mean, Christopher Walken, you're a sailor. Wow. All sorts of things. And Rachel McAdams was just so fine looking in this movie as well, because this was, not far after she was doing The Notebook and Mean Girls and everything. She was kind of at the height of her time. And, Owen Wilson, it was just such a good movie. I love this movie a lot.
Yeah, same, man. And same, I didn't see in theaters, but my excuse was I was this was came out, like I said, in 2005. So when you go back and take a time machine in 2005, what Charlie was doing at that time was being
A
a
fool.
rambunctious 18-year-old who could buy liquor at that time. Even though I didn't have a fake ID, I just had a really, sketchy liquor store to go to that wouldn't ID me.
Oh, actually, we had one too in Bedford.
Mine was in Somerville, I believe. So
Oh,
I
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
had to go a little closer. But anyways, yeah, it was before Somerville was like what it is now, though. But yeah, so I would go there, and yeah, this was obviously after I graduated high school too. So it was sort of like that type of summer, in between. It was the super bad summer, basically. That's why I connect with that
Yes,
movie so
yes,
much.
that's right.
So, needless to say, because I was being a rambunctious youth at that time, I just was not going to movies really. Even though this one obviously was on my radar and something I would like, I just wasn't really doing it. It wasn't something I did. I'd rather get some beer and drink over the weekend.
I
So,
mean, yeah, to be fair, we were getting high watching movies in my friend's garage a lot at that time, to be honest.
oh, well, and here I was mad about to attack you and be like, you're 15. And that's what stopped you from going. What a nerd. I was like, just
No.
sneak in like a real person.
I was doing a lot of stupid stuff at 15, and we were watching movies. We were just watching them in a place where we could do extracurricular activities.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Some gravity bongs. All right. I respect it. So I didn't see it when it came out in theaters, just like you. Fast forward to when it came out on DVD, and it was around Christmas time, actually. I remember specifically like the sequence of events
Back
here.
when they
So
had movies that would specially release around Christmas time, so you can
yeah.
buy them and put them in your loved one's stockings or whatever.
Well, funny enough, this one, I don't think I don't know if it might have done it right before Christmas, I think, or right after. I forget the exact timing, but I remember going to the mall with my mother, my brothers. We were
Probably
there. We
went
were
to
at
FYE, didn't you?
it was one of those stores. But it wasn't Burlington Mall, it was another mall.
Ah,
So we got there, and the store was selling it, but I guess they weren't supposed to be selling it until Tuesday because I think DVDs had like a Tuesday release back in the day
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
that's
like
right. They
that.
had yeah, that's back when music also released on, like, Tuesdays or whatever as well. There was a certain days of the week that things could release, yes.
Right. Yeah, something like that. So, anyways, I bought it, and I guess they were selling it before the release, and I was like, I was just walking around. I saw that it was for sale, and I was like, oh, let me go check out the other one to see if whatever's cheaper I'll get. And then sure enough, I said something and I'm like, "Oh, is this for sale yet?" And they're like, "Oh, no, it has to be on Tuesday." I'm like, "Well, they're selling it down there." They're like, "Oh." And so he goes and tells the manager so that they could sell it. But I went back to the other place because they weren't going to sell it. I think they were
Oh,
afraid of
man.
like
Oh,
any
they yeah.
repercussions of selling it early. So I was
Back in
just
the
like, "All
day,
right,
there were repercussions, yeah.
yeah, yeah," because every not Amazon wasn't the beast it was. So, anyways, I go back to the other one. I buy it, and I ended up going to my buddy Pete's house, not that night or maybe another night that week, and we watch it and we're dying laughing. It was like one of the funnier movies I had watched, and I also remember this because right after that, I got home and I got violently ill. I'm talking like sack over the toilet ill. When he takes the eye drop,
Yeah,
drinks
oh,
the eye
yeah.
drops. That was me.
It's
I was
Bradley
like,
Cooper, which I always forget Bradley Cooper, a young Bradley Cooper's in this movie as well.
I know it's a nice pull to see him like in these early comedies like this one. But anyways, yeah, it was not a good time for me right after that. But that's why this watching this movie always stuck in my head. I had such a great time watching it, and then obviously afterwards I got very very sick. So it was just like a stomach bug that was going around. It was awful.
Man,
So
you gotta
yeah, that's
get
my
that immune
relationship
system
with
up.
this movie. But since after that, obviously after that initial viewing, this has been on like the rewatch go to. I rewatch it all the time. Obviously, just got married a couple of years ago, so had to rewatch it a couple times then.
Yes, yes.
And it's just every time I watch it, like there's not a moment where like the laughs I had the first time are just sort of like undone because I've already seen it before. No, they're still there and they're just as funny. And I just get so much joy watching this movie. So really do love it. But yeah, that's my relationship with this film. So what do you say, Matt? We're ready for some of the production notes here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Writers Steve Faber and Bob Fisher didn't start with the full plot, obviously. Instead, they were fascinated by this, like, apparently this subculture of guys who would crash weddings and meet women. They would eat great food, party, like act like they belong. They had heard real stories, I guess, about this. Some friends of friends, like some urban legends, like style stuff of wedding crashers in the DC and like New York area. So that idea itself just felt fresh for a comedy. But most romantic comedies are about like people trying to stop weddings or
Yeah.
falling in love despite the chaos. So, what they thought was, what if the wedding isn't the problem? It's the goal. They sort of flipped it on a script. The protagonists love weddings. They seek them out. They're experts at like blending in, basically. So that gave them like a twist to make it more
Which is
of
unique, yeah.
yeah, it became more of that a hybrid in the sense that it was a bro comedy and a rom com, which is rare at the time. But I guess you've got kind of two movies this year which like fit that mold. You've got this, and then you got the 40-year-old virgin as well.
Oh,
So
that's right, yes.
yeah, so a little bit of both. But they were still unique at that time. So Fisher once said they were drawn to the psychology of like why these guys would do this. Like one underneath all the jokes, the rules, their loneliness. There's like a loneliness to their lifestyle. The story evolved into the guys like hiding from real connection by jumping from party to party and until love screws it all up, basically. So yeah, I'm like I get where they're going with writing something like this. And in the early 2000s, New Line was actively trying to find R-rated high concept comedies like this that could tap into what they called the frat pack momentum. So the frat pack
Mm,
meaning like this is what a time in comedy where you had films like Old School, obviously another Vince Vaughn
right.
vehicle, Dodgeball, Anchorman, all these sort of like raunchier comedies that were huge hits with a lot of the actors actually that were like around this film. You think Vince Vaughn, Will Ferrell, and all
Mhm.
that. So They were especially open to stuff that pushed the boundaries, but still, obviously, still had emotional resonance. So, which was exactly why Wedding Crashers offered. So writers Steve Faber and Bob Fisher, they wrote that spec script. They shopped it around a few studios past because mainly because you think of a rom com, it was R rated.
Yeah.
Most times when they put out rom coms, they want that PG-13 ready rating so that they can get teenage girls to go to it. So,
I mean,
well,
it's true, and now they just release on Netflix, so anybody could watch it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion on like how just comedies have evolved and changed
Yeah,
or devolved at this point. Like
we don't have good comedies these days, man. I'm gonna say it.
the big budget comedy just doesn't exist anymore. And
No,
obviously, like as a society now, movies are not as like ubiquitous within like the pop culture lexicon and everything like that. So
people don't
it's
watch movies these days. I've noticed, especially okay, maybe this is an oversimplification generalization of the younger crowd, but at work, I work with a lot of younger 20-year-olds, and they don't watch movies. I'm what do you guys do? I guess I had no life growing up. Movies have always been such a part of who I am. And so maybe it's because my parents didn't love me enough. I don't know, but they don't watch movies the way that we grew up watching movies. It's really weird.
well, some of it has its time, like when they grew up, like we grew up
Right.
in a time where it was like pre-internet dominated society. So like we're used to like
Yeah.
going to the movies and watching them and having that communal experience. Like it's a little bit different.
True.
I'll tell you, I know with what they're not doing is they're not reading because Gen Z literacy levels suck. Um,
Yeah. You know, it's
so
our time to talk shit. You want to talk shit about millennials? At least we can read. Bunch
yeah,
of Floyd
exactly.
Mayweathers running around out there.
We're basically like in Billy Madison. We're like, "Psh, kid can't even read." Anyways, that's like enough for our diatribe on Gen Z. But yeah, so I mean, that's part of it. Like with comedies, it's just like they don't exist anymore, and movies aren't as big as they were anyway. So you're not getting that communal experience. And comedies in particular, like you kind of need that. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, you can sit on your couch and laugh at stuff. Like I do that all the time. Like there's shows I watch or comedy specials or any movies, and I still laugh and enjoy myself and have a great time. But it has to be like with other people. Like when there are other people around, it's great. I mean, this weekend, like when I watched it the other day, like we have my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law in town, and we were watching it, and a couple of their kids were watching it with us too. So yeah, it was
Well,
great, like having that communal
you know,
experience to watch this again.
well, it goes beyond that. Because, for example, I just went and saw Sinners yesterday. I went by myself. I love going to the movies alone, but I've been dying to talk about it with somebody else, and that's half the fun of leaving a movie or finishing a movie, and you talk about it with your friend. Like I remember so many times going to the theaters, and you would be leaving the theater, and you just be the whole drive home talking about it, and just all your favorite moments, things that you loved. And a large part of that is you're right. Like a lot of people end up watching movies because streaming is makes it so convenient that you might not have that communal experience. And I so miss that experience in movies.
It's not just the streaming, it's a lot of different things. It's the internet in general because
Oh
you
yeah.
can form these relationships outside of an actual like relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
You can go and talk about it on Reddit, or you can listen to your favorite podcasters talk about. Wow,
Hey, you
did I just
could.
realize we are part of the problem? Holy shit.
You know what?
Um,
No, we're part of the solution because they don't have people to listen and talk to about with movies. So we are that person, that thing.
well, it's a little chicken and egg thing, Matt,
I
because I
know.
could I could say that, hey, we're also providing an outlet so that they don't have to interact with people, which can be a scary thing in and of itself, so that
You
they
gross.
can yeah, they can get that from us. So anyways, we might be part of the problem on that, whatever.
You're right.
I don't give a shit. I just want to talk about movies with you
I just
anyway.
love talking about movies. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
we're just two bros that used to go to brunch and now we're talking about movies.
Well, we can still go to brunch, but
We still can.
yeah, we're gonna have to wait until you come up here again. Anyways, so obviously R-rated. We talked about that. It was hard to tell if it would appeal to both men and women. This movie is another reason why studios would pass on it, which is weird to me because I'm like, no, this would definitely appeal to both, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
like
really weird that that's the generalization because it appeals to both in different ways. Women, believe it or not, also enjoy raunchy comedies, man.
I don't know, dude. I've never seen a woman laugh in my entire life, all
You
right?
know, you're right. If they're laughing, it's because they messed up a recipe in the kitchen. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, women don't laugh, you know, they're not people.
I
Like, what
know
are we
my wife
talking
never
about?
laughs. She just gives me the evil look and says how dumb I am and then wants to hit me. I get abused.
Well, lucky for us, a bunch of studios passed, but New Line, on the other hand, they got it immediately. Peter Abrams was a key player in the production of this, so he worked with New Line before, had produced American Pie, so he had credibility in like the teen young adult comedy space.
Mhm.
He pitched the project hard to New Line, emphasizing the emotional arc beneath the raunchy setup. Vaughn was attached early on because the writers and producers had him in mind from the beginning. His like fast talking, outrageous style was
Well,
just
not even that, but
perfect for the
this was like
character.
the height of his popularity too. I mean, we've had Dodgeball, we've had Old School, just
Totally.
the early 2000s were dominated by Vince Vaughn and I feel like a lot of people forget that because he's not really relevant. I mean, he's relevant,
Not as much though
not as
anymore.
much these days. And after seeing the picture that came out with him posing with a certain somebody, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying. I just saw it actually
Oh
too.
god.
When you said that. But yeah, he had a moment there. I mean, you know, it's obviously he's older too. You know, you
Right.
don't see many people his age like being comedy still.
They're not
Um,
funny, they're just old and angry at life.
yeah, exactly. I mean, unless it's like a Bill Burr or something like that, you know.
God, yeah, the savior we all need right now.
Yeah.
God, Bill Burr just gets better with age. He's like a fine wine.
You know what? You just reminded me. I gotta check. Me and my wife have a national treasures list, and there we have some like criteria. They have to be over a certain age. I'm pretty sure Bill
I'm
Burr is
pretty sure
definitely
Bill
over
Burr
that.
this I mean, yeah, he's 57 right now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, he
yeah.
is. Anyways, we'll put him on that list. So, so Vince Vaughn, he had previously worked with David Dobkin, who ends up being the director. He worked with him on this movie called Clay Pigeons in 1998, which I had not seen, but I've
I
definitely heard
have
about
never heard of
before.
it.
Okay, yeah. So I was gonna say I don't know if you've heard of it or seen it
No.
before. No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. But Dobkin read the script, saw the potential to make something that wasn't just a goofy comedy, but also at heart. So he signed on. His connection with Vaughn helped seal it. Obviously, Vaughn trusted Dobkin's style and instincts for the project. Wilson was interested because he liked the idea of working with Vaughn, and he liked the romantic aspect of the story, especially coming off of movies like The Royal Tannenbaums and The Wedding Planner.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. But funny enough, he actually worked with Dobkin before. So, Owen Wilson, um, Dobkin had directed Shanghai Nights. Remember that one back in the day?
Oh my god, with Jackie Chan, yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally funny that I forgot that Owen Wilson was in movies with Jackie Chan like that, like Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights. Wow, that just unlocks some memories.
Yeah, it was I mean, I remember that at that time. That was a good movie too. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it a
yeah,
lot. So, nice. Obviously, you got Owen Wilson being like the goofy cowboy, and
yep, and
then
then
Jackie Chan's obviously physical style of comedy. It's almost like a Buster Keaton type of deal, you know?
yes, yes.
Um, but yeah, so it was a good movie. So yeah, obviously they had already had a relationship, so the chemistry was there. When they went to cast supporting actors, Rachel McAdams was obviously just coming off of films like The Notebook and Mean Girls, so she had that like romantic gravitas, but was starting to feel out her comedy roots a little bit more.
Yeah.
Obviously, just doing Mean Girls before this. So, um, Isla Fisher,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
vi- oh yeah, breakout role, love her. By the way, she's single now. Did you hear her and
She is, her and I that
Sasha?
relationship was always kind of like a what?
It was, but at the same time, they were together a long time, so I was, like,
They
kinda
were,
rooting for him, you know,
because
and
you know what? She is single though now, that's the important thing.
yeah, I know, I'm gonna have to tell my wife, I've got
Hey, sorry.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to get divorced, and it's nothing. It's not nothing to do with you. It's just.
Well, I'm just gonna add her to the hall pass list. That's all. So
Ah, good call, good call.
I'm not gonna go that far. All right. Um, Anyway, she blew away the audition by making Gloria even crazier and more obsessive, than written,
Dude, she
and they
crushes
loved
the
it.
craziness in this movie. Like, we've all dated that crazy girl, maybe not all of us, but I know I have. And dude, oh my god, she absolutely crushes it to a T.
Absolutely, and apparently Dobkin described her performance as a comedic supernova, so
Oh
I
wow.
was I unfortunately didn't have, like, the DVD before doing this. I just got it yesterday morning, so I didn't get a chance to review it. Hopefully, what I'm finding is that I can find out what this, audition looks like if they taped it,
Oh, that's
maybe put it
right.
on,
Yeah.
like, the extra features,
Back in
so.
the day when you used to get bonus features.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, dude,
I
I'm all
miss
about
those.
those. All about those, director's commentary, bonus features, sometimes you get some, you buy the other ones and might get, like, a documentary making of,
Yeah,
Dude, where do you get all think I get all this info from, you know?
that's fair. The internet.
Yeah, exactly, that too, but a little bit of both, like to have my primary sources out there.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, she was great. Christopher Walken, so he was cast to bring like more gravitas, but also like some absurdity to it because like Walken's presence in the movie like kind of was surreal, because he's Christopher Walken, but he had done
Yes.
comedies before. I mean, obviously Wayne's World too. He was
Yes.
great in that.
Yes.
Um,
Joe
he wasn't.
Dierte.
Yeah, Joe Dierte going about it all wrong. Speak to him like that again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron. Um, yeah, I forgot he was in that. You reminded
Yeah,
me.
oh yeah.
Anyways, he wasn't the original choice. Rumors say someone like Robert Duvall was considered.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, Robert Duvall would have been interesting too. But I mean, I think Walken's perfect. He's
Yeah,
got a little bit of
I
comedic
don't
chops
feel
for it.
like it works as well with Duvall. I don't Duvall's style of comedy, while he can do it, I don't feel works with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. It works in like Four Christmases with him and Vince Vaughn. Another one there.
Yeah, right.
It
But
definitely
yeah,
works in that.
it's
But
just the differences in movies and styles of comedy.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree. It's Yeah, it is one of those where I don't know if it would have worked either, but
Guess you never know.
anyways, he Walken had like a good vibe. Not that he needed to be really funny. He kind of plays it more straight than anything.
He's kind of like a dry, straight, but it's naturally that funniness to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's just something about the way Walken does it.
Mhm.
He's like, "That's right, Todd. You tell that mean ocean." Like the way he says that. And
Yeah.
obviously the way like he has his quirky like voice inflections
Yes,
too.
yes.
So I think that always just is maybe unintentional comedy with him.
Right.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper was cast as Sack. Still relatively unknown at the time, though he
He
did do a
was, yeah.
comedy before this. I'll put you on the spot. Do you know which
Comedy
comedy?
before this? Oh god,
Yeah.
I don't remember even seeing him ever before these kind of movies. I have no idea.
Oh, we're gonna do this one eventually. I don't know when, but we are gonna do this movie. Have you ever seen the movie Wet Hot American Summer?
Oh, I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Oh, dude, we're doing it
That
at
would
some
make
point.
sense why I didn't know. Yeah, okay, yeah, I've never seen it, but I have heard of it.
He's got a small role in it. There's a bunch of other great actors and actresses that are in that, including Paul Rudd, Amy Poehler, Elizabeth Banks. He's in it.
That's a
Uh,
stacked cast.
Dude,
Wow.
it's like early 2000s before like any of this. So like they obviously Paul Rudd well known. Amy Poehler I think was on SNL at the time.
Yep.
Christopher Maloney, of all people,
Oh, wow.
is in it, from Law and Order. Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
organized crime now, but I know he was SVU before he was Stabler. So and he might be one of the funniest ones in the movie. It's actually really funny. But anyways, we'll watch it sometime, dude. It's great. Um, but yeah, he was sort of won the role by leaning into like the villain aspect and just being like this alpha jock like stereotype. So
Interest
which he's great at, like in this. He's
Yeah,
just
oh,
very
yeah. Oh, yeah, he so is. God, the football scene.
the football scene's great. Um, Also, I mean, some of the other scenes with him, he's just like very, I don't know. He's got a very
Plays that D-bag role really well.
Well, I think Dobkin said it about it. He's like just so good at being punchable. Like
Yeah,
that's
oh,
why.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, because his face too at the time, like he didn't have the beard, he wasn't older, so he looked younger, and he had that young, frat boy looking look about him, especially in this movie.
I know. And it just you know that there's something else with there. Like there's this phoniness in there too with him.
Oh yeah,
So yeah. Yeah. Obviously we're not going to talk about this movie without talking about Will Ferrell's cameo. Wasn't originally in the script. Dobkin added it late in the game, and I don't think much of the cast knew much about it either. So,
oh dude, the funeral,
oh
ma, the
god,
meatloaf,
damn you, Roger!
we want it.
uh,
Damn you, Roger. Damn
damn
you.
you! Farrell improvised most of the dialogue as Chaz, the ultimate degenerate wedding crasher turned
Yes.
funeral crasher. um, it turned into like one of the most quoted scenes, legendary cameo. But yeah, that was amazing. Obviously, having Farrell come in and do that, and you know
Yes.
another one of the frat pack or whatever from this
Yes,
time
yes.
that they call. So the movie was set in DC. So obviously, what the filmmakers were thinking of high society, give it more of that authentic East Coast backdrops. You know, that screams like Blue Blood.
Oh,
Country
yeah.
club,
Yes.
political
The
families.
yacht club, man, the "We're better than you, why you don't belong here" types.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and you think about the summer home, like clearly that's a they're
Oh,
harking back to the Kennedy compound, like that's
oh,
what they're
yeah.
going for with that. So yeah, but instead of filming in like DC proper, because like I guess
That
it's
would've been a
really
nightmare.
tricky. Yeah, it's tricky, it's expensive. They use like in and around Maryland, obviously. You got
Oh,
the D
which it's basically all the same. It still looks like it belongs in that area without a doubt, especially if you've ever driven up like the shorelines or anything like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's the DMV area, like that Eastern Shore.
Yeah.
So the Cleary House was filmed at like the Inn at Perry Cabin, St. Michael's, Maryland.
Okay.
Which is on the Eastern Shore. So Dobkin wanted a location that, like I said, looked like the Kennedy compound, exclusive, classic, coastal sort of thing. The inn is like a real luxury resort on the Chesapeake Bay,
We're
and it
better
gave
than you.
yeah, exactly. It gave off that sort of "we're better than you" rich people summer retreat vibe that like the
Yep.
Cleary family needed. So that was great. It also had enough space for the large outdoor scenes like the football game and the Crab Fest
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah. Uh, the montage of the weddings at the beginning was shot in real churches, banquet halls, and outdoor venues in and around DMV. So yeah, that's pretty cool too that they used a lot of the
Yeah,
real
I just
scene,
imagine
real
Jesus
places.
watching like, "Man, these guys know how to party."
That's what I was thinking too.
Jesus is coming down. He's like, "Man, I should come back down sooner."
Jesus comes down and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me turn this water
Back in
into
my day.
champagne. Forget the wine. Let me turn it into champagne."
Rage.
All right. Principal photography started in March, started in March of 2004, lasted until May 2004. Most of the shoot took place in Maryland. Like I said, St. Michael's, Easton, Chestertown, where some of like the established, obviously they have some establishing shots of DC, stuff like that. The weather was a huge factor. They timed it so they could get that like early spring, summer look, which is perfect for wedding season,
Oh,
obviously. Like,
yeah, yeah. It has that, like, you could just tell with the way the sun shines that it's this warmth to it all as well.
oh yeah, absolutely. There's just this. You can tell that in that time, and if you're from the East Coast, you just you feel everything's blooming, everything's starting to get
Your
green.
allergies start to get acting up when you
Oh
watch
God,
this movie, your eyes swell, you start sneezing.
you start dying. You've got to take a Zyrtec before you even go in here. All right, like you can't just like watch this movie, raw dog it. You got to
No,
take a
you can't
Zyrtec.
just go in there, no.
No, you can't. Um, but yeah, so obviously we talked about the Perry cabin where they filmed it. So apparently during this time too, there was a heat wave going on, and so it was really hot there. Like we're talking like 90-degree days in
Oof.
this time. Yeah, between March and May, which is shitty.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the house had no air conditioning as well.
How do you have
And
no air in that big ass
I
house?
know. Well, especially if it's like some sort of rich people retreat. You
That's
gotta
what
have
I'm
air
saying.
conditioning.
Rich people love air conditioning.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, they
not such
do.
a
Poor
luxury
people.
here as global warming continues to kick off.
Yeah, yeah, only making it worse too.
God.
Um, um, so yeah, apparently no air conditioning. But Vaughn had ice packs hidden in his jacket and had like a towel
Don't blame
off.
him in the slightest.
Yeah, he had a towel off in between takes, especially during like the football scene and the dinner sequences. So a lot of this too, though, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Isla Fisher, like all improvised constantly. So
That's
part
amazing.
of I know, dude. Can you like imagine? Because on sets like this, it's like when you get guys who can improvise, especially like Vince Vaughn, who's really
Right.
good, just
And
just
not
off the cuff.
everybody can keep up with that, but the fact that, the 2 of them were able to play off of each other, and that's what always makes that's why I feel like with them especially, it feels more natural, and you get more of that natural element in comedies when you're allowing your people to improvise and they improvise well.
Yeah, exactly. And you know the thing about this sort of or this type of comedy with this one is that with this, it gave him sort of the space to do it because
Mhm.
it was a romantic comedy, but it was also like a bro comedy, and
Yes.
and it was R rated. So like those key factors allow them to think a little bit more off the cuff and be raunchy and sort of go for that. So they weren't
Yeah.
constrained by a PG-13 rating or having to have too much heart, for a romantic comedy. So that's why it's like I think it's genius to do
Oh,
something.
absolutely.
But anyways, but yeah, to the point where like the scenes would take hours longer to film because everyone would kept breaking character and laughing, which is amazing. Like the whole lock it up argument, total improv off
Yes.
lock it up. Dobkin said they'd shoot a scripted version, then let Vaughn go wild for like 5 or 6 takes, which often ended up being what made the final cut too. So like we talked about. And then Isla Fisher was so committed to her character that sometimes even the crew didn't know what she was about to do next. Oh man, you can see why. I mean, obviously, you can see why somebody who's got the comedy chops like Sasha
Oh,
Baron
yeah.
Cohen would go for
Absolutely.
her. Respect, respect game. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'd mentioned this about Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell's cameo as Jazz wasn't filmed until late in the shoot. Most of the cast and crew didn't know about it until the day of. Ferrell improvised almost everything. Obviously,
Of
this is
course.
like Will Ferrell at
This
his
is
peak.
peak Will, yeah, I was gonna say it's peak Will Ferrell at this moment.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, including the whole "Ma, the meatloaf" lines.
I never know what she's doing back there.
I don't even know what she's doing back there. Oh, are you getting married? What? Oh, what an idiot! More for you and me. Oh man. Vaughn said it was one of the hardest scenes to get through without cracking up. Dobkin had to use wide shots because no one could keep a straight
Oh, I
face.
guarantee you, yeah, there's no way you could ever get them in the same scene because it's like an SNL skit. You can just there yeah, dude, no way.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's go to the football scene. Bradley Cooper trained with real football players for the role to like get a little bit more into it
Oh my
for the
god.
scene. And I guess apparently he was hitting that hit on what's his name?
Oh, Owen
Vince
Wilson?
Vaughn.
Or Vince
No.
Vaughn? Yeah, that's right, he hits Vince Vaughn hard, and that's when Vince is like, "How about?" Because he didn't wanna play in the first place.
Yeah, and apparently that was like a hard hit and it
Oh,
was a
man.
little so
Vince is a
uh,
big dude.
yeah, Vince is a big dude. And I mean, well, so Bradley Cooper's probably not a small dude either. So
No.
not that I mean Hollywood's full of short people, but I don't think Bradley Cooper's one of them. So
Right, no, but Vince Vaughn's like 6'6" or something like that.
um and I didn't I put this in here because I thought of it, but I didn't fact check it. And you can do this for me or on the fly. Because as you can see, Matt, my mic stand is broken. I got to hand hold my mic
Oh,
now. So
jeez.
I know it's fun. So Jeremy getting shot, I always thought was an obviously inspired by the Dick Cheney incident where he shoots somebody hunting. That's what it felt like
That's
to
what
me.
I thought too always.
Fact check it for me because I was like, well, timeline wise, did that match up? I was like, I think that is what it was.
Let
But
me look.
anyways, Yeah, see when Dick Cheney shot somebody. If it was before 2005, I'm gonna say yes, it was definitely. It doesn't matter. Um, Vaughn took a legit fall. Okay, yeah. So the fall with what Bradley Cooper, that's the real one. Anyways, the movie had a longer third act, which like focused more on Claire and John's romance. But after some test screenings, they tightened it up and cut several slower scenes, focusing more on Vaughn and Wilson's friendship and bringing Chaz in for that like final comedic punch. So
Oh no, Dick Cheney was afterwards. It was 2006 when he shot somebody. Unfortunately,
well, that is life imitating art right there. Um,
you watched this movie a little too much.
maybe I was thinking, I'm like, oh, timeline wise, I'm like,
In
I
my
thought it
head, I
matched
thought
up.
it was before, but I guess yeah, man, it's one of those
Yeah,
like Berenstain Bears moments.
yeah, I know, right? The Mandela effect.
Yeah,
Well, I was thinking, I just thought that I'm like, oh, that would be a funny thing for a comedy dude. Obviously, put something like that in there as a slight nod to Dick Cheney and make fun
yeah.
of him when you're dealing with like political types and all of this. So yeah, that's why I thought of
It
it.
was the
But
first instance.
yeah, but no, Dick Cheney saw the movie and was like, I should shoot
You know what?
somebody.
You're right. I got a real good idea. It's gonna be hilarious.
All right, that's what I got for the production notes here. Box office, 209 million at the domestic box office. So yeah, that
Not bad for an R-rated comedy, to be honest
had
with you.
I know, right? Quite the year for that year. So Matt, this came out in 2005. What do you think that puts it at for that year? What
Well,
ranking?
clearly not number one because Revenge of the Sith also came out that year.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say number 8.
Close,
Oh,
close. 8 was actually, an, animated comedy, Madagascar,
oh
but
wow.
this was in the number 5 spot.
Madagascar's that my first choice was 5, and then I was like, "Nah, I feel like there's something else that came out." And so I ended up with 8 just because that felt like a safer number, but that was gonna be my first choice, funny enough.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what, like, for looking at it too, this was probably, if you really wanna look at it, I'd say the most successful because the other ones ahead of it are either, remakes, working off of a source material, like one of them ahead of it is obviously Harry Potter, The
Oh, yeah,
Chronicles of
Harry Potter
Narnia.
came out. Oh, Chronicles of Narnia too, interesting.
Yep, or War of the Worlds too, which was,
Oh, dude, yeah, Tom Cruise, man, it was a book,
yeah,
or it
Steven
was the radio show too at first, and people
yeah.
didn't know it was a fake thing.
Yeah, Orson Welles, and obviously Steven Spielberg directed War of the Worlds. So there you go, right there. But yeah, that's why I'd say it's the most successful. This is working off of it's its own original script. It's not like working
Yeah,
off a book
no,
or
that's
anything
fair.
like that. So, but yeah, so yeah, that was it's really cool. Back when comedies mattered and
Yeah,
going to the
right?
movies mattered. So yeah, 209 million. It was fifth place. What do you think that is adjusted for inflation now that we're 20 years out?
I would say 370,000,000?
Ooh, getting good at this, Matt. 342 actually.
I've been paying attention to, the climate and inflation these days, what can I say? I'm also in my master's program for marketing, so I feel like I'm getting better at the numbers aspect of stuff.
Oh, there you go. Well, Mr. PhD in marketing over here.
Doctor,
Well,
actually, thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Refer to me by my proper title.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Roth. All right. um, but yeah, this was it was a pretty successful movie. Obviously, 340 would put it pretty high up
Yeah.
there even in today's
You
marketplace.
don't see a lot of movies making that back these days unless it's a franchise.
Yeah, and that's all they put out in theaters though too,
That's yeah,
So
pretty much now. That's why also again, man, I'm gonna die on the hill that everybody should go see Sinners. It's a fresh idea and it's also really fucking good.
yeah, I'll go see it. Anyways, critical reception and awards. Let's get into it. Received 64 on Metacritic, 70 and then 75% critic score and 70% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
Interesting.
pretty highly touted.
Yeah.
Richard Roper, He said it produces more laughs per minute than any film this year so far. So that leads me into
That's a high
our
praise too from him.
yes,
'Cause
yes, and
normally comedies are hard to come by good praises.
yeah, I mean, it depends. Because I think that sometimes audiences or I mean, comedies hit more with audiences than they do with critics. Sometimes critics
They
miss
do,
them.
they really do. Because
Yeah,
critics are thinking too, obviously, critically on the nose there, and so they're looking at it from, like, a different lens, I feel like, whereas audiences, it's a comedy, they just wanna go in and laugh.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And look, don't get me wrong. Like cheap laughs are cheap laughs. So you can say that, hey, it's cheap laughs, but it's still funny. It's still
Listen,
effective
if
in
it
what it
still
does.
hits, yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's a valid criticism too.
Mhm.
Um, but we've got to ask the question. This goes into it. Does this film produce more laughs per minute than any film in 2005? Because there's really two big ones here. We've got Wedding Crashers and we've got 40-Year-Old Virgin in 2005.
Um, I feel like 40-Year-Old Virgin was the more talked about film, and
Yeah,
so I think Wedding Crashers is the better film, but on if I'm thinking large scale audience, I'm probably gonna say that I think they laughed more at the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
yeah, probably. And I would include myself in that. Not that I didn't laugh at 40-Year-Old Virgin. But
I
and I
mean, no, I
love.
liked the movie. We watched the movie a lot when I was at that age. I mean, we were always quoting that movie too, but I just think Wedding Crashers is the funnier movie, and it doesn't include, the cheap romance and, I get like Steve Carell, that like the scenes where he's getting the waxing and stuff like that, and but at the same time, it feels better to laugh at Wedding Crashers versus poor Steve Carell's character, I guess.
It just feels better. What do you mean by that? I
Well, I
guess.
mean, like, Steve Carell's just like this idiot who clearly has like mental problems too at the same time, I almost feel like. And so there's funny moments, whereas Wedding Crashers to me, I think it's more of the improv. It's a different kind of comedy. Um,
First off, timeout. Are you gonna tell me right now that there's no improv in 40-Year-Old
there
Virgin when you have
definitely is
Steve
improv. Come on, it's
Carell?
Steve Carell. I don't
You have
know how to
Steve
explain,
Carell,
man. I
Seth
don't know how to
Rogen,
explain.
Paul Rudd, like, Jane Lynch. I mean, like, we're
I can't. It's hard. I don't really know how I'm trying to explain it. I just feel like the comedy hits better for me in Wedding Crashers than it does in 40-Year-Old Virgin. I get
look,
in a simple term.
that's fair, and I would agree with that, actually. I think, Wedding Crashers I actually like a little bit better. And more has to do actually with the runtime in
Mm,
40-Year-Old Virgin. Even in this one, like, that's one of my criticisms of this. I'm like, I feel like they could have tightened it up a little bit more still.
right.
And maybe it's because I watched the unrated version. That's probably has something to do with it. But even still, I do find the movie drags a little bit in the second half of this.
Well,
And
okay, so
even
that's my big criticism is everything after, they get found out at the weddings and stuff, that kind of drags a little bit more than it needs to.
yeah, it does, And I also like I don't buy the relationship between Claire and
Owen
uh
Wilson.
John that that I do in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Well, Owen
Those
Wilson's not like a lead romantic comedy type, though. I think that's a lot to do with it. He's not
yeah,
like your stereotypical handsome guy, I guess.
and I get what they're trying to go for. Like, obviously, like, yeah, Bradley Cooper's gorgeous and he's better looking than Owen Wilson, but
Right.
and obviously they're trying to say, hey, it's not just about that, like the appearances, looks of it, and stuff
Right.
like that. They're trying to say it's what's on the inside. But I mean, it's not even that more so. It's just like, I don't know, like their chemistry's there, but
It's
it's not
not
like
so much. I feel like Owen Wilson's a little too wooden in a lot of the romantic type scenes.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Like it just doesn't hit for me. And that's okay. It doesn't like
It's
diminish
still
the
a good
movie too
movie, yeah.
much. Um, but yeah, I mean that's where I feel. But as far as like laughs per minute in 2005, I think Wedding Crashers might get me a little bit more.
And it
Um,
has to do with a lot of, like, the Vince Vaughn, Isla Fisher, Todd, I think, more so than anything else as well.
yeah, definitely. Not to say that the side characters in 40-Year-Old Virgin
I'm from Brooklyn.
don't crush it. Everybody in that movie's hilarious. Paul Rudd,
You gotta grow
like
the
I said,
plant, and you gotta fuck the plant.
Jane Lynch.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just all of them. Even Seth Rogen, obviously, he was like kind of,
he was
newer.
breaking out, yeah, on the scene at this time.
Yeah, yeah. He was sort of like, feeling himself out at this point.
Right.
And it's Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow is like one of the great comedic directors of
Yeah,
the early aughts there. So, but yeah, I mean, I think overall, like I gravitate myself more towards Wedding Crashers than 40-year-old virgin, but I do think 40-year-old virgin is awesome and I love it.
agreed,
So,
agreed.
all right, cool. Favorite wedding characters that they create, like, because they're going through a bunch of these characters at the beginning. What are some of your favorite ones? Obviously, I like the one where they start where they're like the two Jewish guys.
I was gonna say the Jewish wedding
I
just
want you
because,
to read a
like,
real mensch, Chuck Schwartz.
it looks ridiculous. Like, wasn't one of the Jewish kids like, a rubber? He's like, "Oh, wait, how do you know what that is?"
No, no, no. He's like, I know which one you're talking about. This is at the Cleary wedding you're talking about.
Oh,
He's
that's
like,
right, that's right,
he's like,
that's right.
anyone? Oh no, it might be actually. You're right. Does anybody know what this is used for? Rolling a fatty?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly it. So, how do you know what that is?
yeah. You're right. It was at the Jewish wedding they do that.
I think that was, like, my favorite one, or I always quote the, "We lost a lot of good men out there
Yeah,
playing for the Yankees,"
yeah.
to trades and
Trades and unruly
others.
fans.
Yeah, that one is very quotable because I always say that in my daily vocab. Again, is another one that I quote. So those are probably my favorites out there.
Yeah, I like that one. I love the one when they go into the Irish wedding. He's like, so, there's Bobby O'Shea, and he's like, "I'm going to get
Yes.
drunk." Like they're just doing all these stereotypes as they go in there. Oh, it's great. But yeah, I like the beginning ones, the Jewish characters that they do and everything. Mazel tov, baby, from my family to yours.
It's fun too because, like, you got the chair and, like, that wedding looks like a lot of fun.
I know, it looked like a blast. I was like, "Oh man." Have you ever a sidetrack note? Have you ever been to like a Jewish wedding
No, I
before?
haven't.
I
Funny enough.
have. I have that. It was a good
Did you
time. It was
get thrown
actually
up in the chair? Did anybody break, what, plates and get thrown into a chair?
no, no, I don't think so. But they, uh, it was so it was like both a Catholic and a Jewish wedding.
Ah,
So it was
so the
like one of
Catholics didn't
those.
let them have fun. I got you.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun. It was like they did both, because I think the bride
It's
was
the most
Jewish.
Boston stuff ever, man. A Catholic Jewish wedding. Oh my god, does not get more gangs in New York than that.
I don't know, man. I feel like the most Boston wedding's still Catholic, but
Oh, yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
Irish
fair, but,
Italian,
like,
Catholic Italian. That's all.
that's fair, yeah.
But yeah, man, it was a good time. Like it was a lot of fun. So I guess like I've half ish, but not really. So
Doesn't count as a fool because I don't think you got the full experience because
I
Catholics aren't allowed to have fun.
I guess you're right. But dude, it was still a fun time. We had a great time there. They did like a half ceremony with the priest and rabbi, so it was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. Favorite wedding memories, Matt. What are some of your favorite wedding memories, just personally?
No, we're not talking about because I will get murdered. Um
I won't say it. Don't
I
worry.
will say that was fun, like, dancing at your wedding was probably one of my favorites because it was great, like, seeing friends again, like, we met in LA, and so, like, for you and Steph, we got to see you guys, but then also, Alyssa, who I grew up with, seeing her at the same wedding, even though it's such a small world moment and, like, everybody getting together, having a good time, just you're in Los Angeles in the hills that are beautiful, that's one of my favorites, you know I aside from that, like, my own wedding was just a courthouse wedding, and so I haven't gone to too many memorable weddings, I'll be honest. I've been the best man in a bunch of weddings, that I will say, but as far as, like, ragers and fun moments, like, none of them really stick out to me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you.
My friends
I
are
think
fucking boring, dude. I don't know.
I guess so.
That's why, like, aside from you, like, you're the coolest one I got, man. I don't know. We peaked.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Shit. I'm glad that my wedding was awesome for you.
It
But yeah, I
was.
mean, I do have a lot of great memories from my wedding. Obviously, it was such a beautiful day. Like I can go on and on about like
That
how
whole
great that
weekend
day
was
was.
just amazing.
Yeah,
You know, it was just like a fun it was a destination wedding, I guess, for, you know, Carrie and I, which added to
most
more
people.
fun because we got to be without the kids and, you know, we got to hang out with you guys and have a lot of fun and see people that, I mean, I knew and I had met, you know, through you up in Massachusetts, and like everybody was out there. So getting to see a lot of them again, seeing your family was out there, and just everybody was in the good vibes, and it was sunny and nice and warm. Yeah, you know, and I think that's why I have such fond memories of it, more so than obviously, you know, aside from the fact that it's you and Steph. But it was just like that whole weekend was perfect.
Yeah, it really was. It was a great weekend. Beginning of summer too, so perfect time. Malibu, you know,
Yes,
can't go
yes.
wrong with Malibu. You know, before it was
I
destroyed
had
by
an
fires.
Audi we rented, and we drove down the coast to the pier and everything too, like
PCH.
Carrie and I
Yep.
did, and then we went to Universal Hollywood, where I was so hungover after your wedding that I rebooted. Carrie was like, "Are we gonna go into this something?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I just stopped blank, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "You know, I don't know. I think I just felt my brain reboot. I completely blanked right now because we were so hungover."
Dude, it was definitely a weekend for the ages. I will say for
Yes.
my wedding, I mean, I got drunk. Obviously, I was drinking most of the day. I was drinking champagne like all day, I think.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, we may have had some
there was
other.
something else in the pockets.
Oh yeah, definitely a little of those hallucinogenics, if you will. You know, calms us down. No, not calm, but like it actually just made us even more happy, like during the experience
Yeah.
and everything. It was so much fun. So yeah, it was a great time. We had a blast. That was one of my favorite weddings. I think the other wedding that stands out for me too is back in 2014. My uncle got married, and it was like I was like so excited because I'm the oldest cousin on my mom's side. So, and I was at the time, I think I was like 27. So like
Mm.
a lot of my cousins were starting to become like 21 and up and like maybe a little bit older. So I was like super excited, and I was like felt like I was the only one hyping up, and I was like, you guys have no idea. Like, because I'd been to weddings too. I'm like, we're
Yeah.
starting to become drinking age. I was like, this is like the first family wedding
Where
I've been to.
everybody's kinda, like, legal, yeah.
And so I was like, you guys have no idea. This is going to be a blast. If so, you know, fast forward that it was in York, Maine, and it was like
Oh,
just
I love York, it's such a beautiful town too, man.
same, dude. It's great. It was like it did rain, so they had to like it was going to be an outdoor ceremony, so they had to move it in, and they did like the ceremony and everything indoor, but it ended up being perfect. So we did it that day. It was funny. So I was gonna bring somebody. I got a plus one, and then it was like we were kind of like talking ish, but then she had started seeing somebody, so like you know she didn't. So I still had
Oh,
a
I
plus one.
vaguely remember this.
Yeah, yeah, it was, yeah, and so I'd remained friends with her afterwards too, but, like, it wouldn't have been appropriate for her to come, so I was like, "Alright, whatever."
Right.
But my cousin, one of my cousins, or I guess, like, second cousin, didn't have an invite, so I was just like, "Dude, just be my plus one," you know, and have that, you know? They were gonna crash it anyway, like
You're real sick, you know that? Your cousin?
yes.
Gross.
So I was just like, dude, just come with me and you know, sit with all of us. And so, but yeah, it was a fond memory I have like with him too, because he's passed away.
Oh, man.
So that's always a fond memory, not to bring down the mood. But yeah, so that always stuck with me. And it's just that it was that first time, like, I think all of us cousins got together and like, it was one of those big parties.
Yeah,
And
man.
so, it'll always just stick in my memory. Like everybody had a good time, and even my parents were like, "Oh, this wedding felt different." And I go, "Yeah," I go, "Because you guys are older now." And it's like, and this is almost like we're the life of the party, not you guys. So it's different.
Yeah. Oh god, that's right. Jesus, we're gonna get there at some point, which thank you. It just bring you know, I've been the best man in a few, but even those weddings were kinda like, eh. I went to a wedding, man. I was the best man in this kid's wedding, who I'm not friends with anymore because he severely fell off the cliff as far as falling into certain propagandas. But it was on a Friday and it was with this girl, and you can just tell, like, first of all, if you have a wedding on a Friday, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have to take off work and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it just had these weird vibes to it. She was like from a rich cop family, and just lo and behold, like not even a year later, she had been cheating on him the entire time with this doctor. And now this doctor they got married. And of course, he's like this old doctor it's basically her sugar daddy at this point. So, but
Oh yeah.
the whole vibes around it was like, I knew it was going to happen, man. It was so awkward.
She like, is this like a, what's the age difference? Are we talking like,
Oh, this guy is like late 40s, early 50s, and she's
oh, all right.
barely 30. Yeah.
All right. That's not too bad. I was thinking, I'm like, we're not talking like
Old staggy balls. No.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're not talking like Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, right?
No.
Oh God,
But
he's
God
so
bless.
pathetic.
That is creepy to me still, man. Without a
pathetic.
doubt. It is creepy. And yeah, it is absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, it is. I've lost so much respect for the man over the years, but
I don't blame you.
Starting with the football stuff, even. But anyways, all right, that does it for our questions. Let's get into some of the rules for wedding crashing. So I've got all 110 rules pulled up, Matt. Let's go over some of the funnier ones.
110. Oh, thank God we're not going through them all.
No, we're not going through them all.
Crazy.
You know, obviously we know number one. You know, they say in the movie, rule number one. You know what that is, right?
Rule number one is no, I don't. I forget.
Never leave a fellow crasher behind.
That's right. Oh my, it's been a while because clearly I rewatched the wrong movie. I thought we were doing Mighty Ducks, and so when you said the unrated version, I was like, oh my God, are we gonna watch Bombay bang Charlie's mom? Like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, this morning I remembered we were doing Wedding Crashers, and luckily I've seen it so many times, but I did not rewatch it because I rewatched the wrong movie yesterday.
Oh my God, that was so funny because I didn't even pick up on it either. You said Disney Plus, and I'm like, I thought it was on Netflix.
I
Wedding
was
Crashers.
so confused. Oh man, it makes so much sense now.
Yeah, I know, right? So obviously we got rule number one. Rule number two: never use your real name. Rule number five: never let a girl come between you and a fellow crasher.
Ooh, they did not stick to that one.
Well, they
Think they did.
ish. You know, I guess it came between them more so. Like they weren't fighting over the same girl, It's just
Right.
that, yeah, I guess it did a little bit. But rule number 6: do not sit in the corner and sulk. It draws attention in a negative way. Draw attention to yourself, but on your own terms. That's one they say in the movie, obviously.
Yes.
Rule number 10 might be one of my favorite. Invitations are for pussies.
Yes.
Rule number 13: bridesmaids are desperate. Console them. Rule number 16: always have an up-to-date family tree. That one is in the wedding.
Yep.
I mean, in the movie, obviously. Rule number 19: toast in the native language if you know the native language and have practiced the toast. Do not wing it. That's a good one. I got another one here. Rule number 30: know the playbook so you can call an audible.
Yes.
Hot route. Here's another random one. Rule number 36: your favorite movie is The English Patient. Oh God. Rule number 38: never hit on the bride. It's a one-way ticket to the pavements.
Oh yeah.
You know what's funny is that some of these rules obviously they had to come up with because they've tried certain things too.
Yes. You know they absolutely did.
Like rule number 35: breakfast is for closers.
Yep.
Rule number 45: the rules of wedding crashing are sacred. Don't sully them by improvising. It's another good one.
Yeah.
Rule number 47: make sure all the single women at the wedding know you're there because you've just suffered either a terrible breakup or the death of your fiance. You know, it's so funny. It's like some of these I feel like are rules that Neil Patrick character from How I Met Your Mother would have made up with as well too.
Yeah.
Rule number 54. If pressed, tell people you're related to Uncle Ned. Everyone has an Uncle Ned.
They do.
So
Actually,
that's
I
one.
don't,
I
but
don't either. Ned and Liz, their kids.
oh, yes. How are they?
This is an interesting one. So when rule number 56, when seeing a rival crasher, do not interact, merely acknowledge each other with a tug on the earlobe or gracefully move on. That's it. Um, Rule number 67, no sex on the altar. Confessionals, okay. Chair lofts, better.
Oh my god.
uh, Rule number 79, occasionally bring a real gift. You're getting sex without having to buy dinner, so you can afford a blender. Some of these are just amazing, dude. I love looking at
Yes,
the
they
rules.
are.
I could go on and on, but I'll save us from that. Let's get into the categories. All right. Best scene. To me, there's just one clear cut that is above the rest, and everything else is just fighting for second place. So I'm gonna just say what I think is the best right now. The wedding montage is by far
Oh, it's the
the
best. Yeah,
best.
because you get to see them crashing throughout different elements and they're doing a lot of different styles. They're at different weddings and it's the music with it
Yep.
is so fun. That is by far my favorite scene as well.
And while we're not to get ahead of ourselves, but I'm going to right now for favorite music moment. Let's just get it out of the way. It's
It's
shout.
yes,
It's shout. Like,
obviously. Nothing gets you more amped than that.
You know you make me wanna.
and I feel like that was purposeful. Like that's the highlight of every wedding too. So like they know that for this movie, that has to be the highlight of the movie too. Is that?
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It is. I'm gonna just say this right now. It's not only one of the best like scenes. It's one of the best montages in film history. It's fucking
Agreed.
amazing, dude.
Agreed.
It's so funny. It's so good. It's just it's great. I love it. Anyways, all right. Building off of what could be second best, we've got the mediation scene at the beginning, which I fucking love, dude. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. That's right, comatose for me, baby. Hey, John. He's like, hey, John, that glass looks half full. You know what? It is half full. Just the different quotes that they say in that too. They're going on their rant about, like what they love about weddings. Like, I love
Yeah.
crab cakes.
Heather, that's a nice moment. What'd you have to eat?
Crab cakes.
Are you kidding me? Crab cakes? How could you not have a good time eating crab cakes? I love them.
And
They're
you got
phenomenal.
a band? Did you have a band?
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Who gives a shit? It's a great band. It's a bad band. It's like pizza, baby. It's good no matter what. There's music in the air.
And then he does the whole thing about, he's like, don't you guys just, want to move on? He's like, don't you want to find some young Latin guy who's, makes you feel dangerous, but also safe, Jeremy's little tirade on that's amazing. So I love that scene. The wedding season prep, so after they do this, they're sort of they go back to their offices and they're talking about like
They're at the
everything.
drawing board, man.
Yep. How many of them are cash bars? Great question. Love where your head's at. 5 of them are, but we're never having to pay for a drink all night. He just whips out the purple hearts. I fucking love it. I never thought I'd laugh so much at Stolen Valor, but
Yeah.
I love that. Obviously, after that, I think the Cleary wedding prep and into the Cleary wedding ceremony is great because the wedding prep, they're talking about like some of the stuff over, the other weddings, like, oh, don't take a turn to negative town with me, when he's saying that, he's talking about, he does the whole erroneous on both counts. He's like, it's not about Chaz Reinhold, who's in the Hall of Fame, I love that. And then we get into the ceremony itself, which has some of the best lines in the entire movie. I mean, that one's great. And then the other scenes I think that are best, the football scene, fucking amazing.
Yep.
Bradley Cooper steals the show in that one. And then the dinner table scene is unreal. I love the dinner table scene. Holy shirts and pants. And the last best funny scene is obviously Chaz. I just put Chaz and that's it.
Yes.
And that can mean both obviously meeting Chaz
Enough
in
said.
the funeral that they go to. But I think we both agree that the montage is the best. So what's your second favorite then, Matt?
It would be the football sequence.
Yeah, it's fucking great, dude. I
Yeah.
love the football sequence.
Easily.
Yeah, the physical comedy in that combined with just what's his name being over the top.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper. I love it. Yeah, that was great. I think for me, it's probably the Cleary wedding prep in the ceremony. I think that's my favorite after that.
Solid choice.
Yeah. All right, we're in for a doozy, man. This is Anchorman level shit right here as far as quotable line goes. To me, I have a favorite one, but the ones I just said before from the mediation. When when Mrs. Kroger, she's like, "You shut your mouth when you're talking to me."
Go comatose for me, baby.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Underrated, best line from not anybody that isn't Vince Vaughn in this movie.
Yep.
It's a great one. I like Jeremy and John's rant about like marriage too. That's a good one. They're just talking about the institution of marriage.
Yep.
So I like that one. Other ones. Oh, Jeremy's rant to Janice, like, the one where he's talking about, she's like, I want to hook you up with my friend. And he's like, I don't want to, do this whole dating thing.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
And then it leads to, one of my favorite lines in the whole movie, just the tip, just to see how it feels. Or ouch, you're on my hair.
You're sitting there, you're wondering, do I have food on my face? Am I eating? Am I talking too much? Are they talking enough? Am I interested? I'm not really interested. Should I play like I'm interested, but I'm not that interested, but I think she might be interested, but do I want to be interested? But now she's not interested. So now all of a sudden I'm starting to get interested. And when am I supposed to kiss her? Do I have to wait for the door? Because then it's awkward. It's like, well, good night. Do you do like the ass out hug? Where you hug each other like this and the ass sticks out because you're trying not to get too close. You just go right in and kiss them on the lips. Or don't kiss them at all. It's very difficult trying to read the situation. And all the while, you're just really wondering, are we going to get hopped up enough to make some bad decisions?
So that's a good one. Obviously, we talked about it. We lost a lot of good men out there.
Yes.
Another good one.
That's probably my personal favorite because I use it the most.
French Foreign Legion.
Yeah. We lost a lot of good men out there.
Wow, really? Mount Everest?
I don't like to talk about it because we lost so many good men out there.
Lost so many good men out there.
Playing with the Yankees?
Yes, with the Yankees, you lose good men to trades and unruly fans. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's one you just can use every day, and like
Yes.
people will get. Erroneous is another good one for that as well.
Yes.
I like this one with John. He's like,
It's the first quarter of the big game. You want to toss up a Hail Mary. I'd like to be pimps from Oakland or cowboys from Arizona, but it's not Halloween. Grow up, Peter Pan, Count Chocula.
This is all like the wedding prep ones, like I said, or the Cleary wedding, like the prep and the ceremony are great. So this exchange between John and Jeremy.
Fifth row back with the fancy hat. I like that.
No, don't waste your time on girls with hats. They tend to be very proper.
Yeah? The proper girl in the hat just I fucked the shit out of me.
I'm sorry. Why'd you say it a little louder? I don't think the priest heard you.
Look, John, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, okay? I'm not gonna apologize. I'm a coxman.
All right, and I'll say this one is by far my favorite. Is the motorboat and stuff, and like the whole
yeah,
dude, the whole exchange is hilarious. But like, the whole thing, you motorboat son of a bitch, you old sailor, you. Where is she? Still in the house? What are they built for? Speed or comfort? It's so fucking funny, dude.
What's wrong with you? Why you got the weird look all over your face?
Claire's mom just made me grab her Hooters.
Well, snap out of it. What, a hot older woman made you feel her cans? Stop crying like a little girl.
I wasn't crying like a little girl.
Why don't you try getting jacked off under the table in front of the whole damn family and have some real problems? Jackass. What were they like anyway? They look pretty good. Are they real? Are they built for speed or for comfort? What'd you do with them? Motorboat? You play the motorboat? You motorboating son of a bitch. You old sailor, you. Where is she? She's still in the house?
And then obviously we talked about this one. The painting was a gift, Todd. I'm taking it with me.
Jeremy tried to seduce me.
You did?
I want my painting back.
The painting was a gift, Todd. I'm taking it with me.
And then we got like the Chaz Reinhold ones are just amazing. Between Ma the Meatloaf, hang gliding, I'm dead. And the damn you Roger
Roger.
thing too.
Damn you.
But that's it, man. What's your favorite, would you say?
I would just go with, we lost a lot of good men out there because I quote it more than any other line from this film.
Yeah, that's I mean, dude, that's a really good one. I like that one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that one a lot. I'm the motorboating one. I like that one. I like the whole exchange though between that. It's like because it's not just that. It's like Jeremy saying he's like, oh what? Some hot old woman showed you your cans. He's like, why don't you go get jacked off and you got to cry like a little baby? Why don't you go get jacked off in front of the family? Have some real problems. Just that whole exchange is amazing.
Yes.
Anyways, memeable moment. This was tough for me because like I don't feel like there's stuff that are
I mean,
memeable in
aside
here.
from Will Ferrell's,
Yes,
that's the
that's it.
only real meme that we've seen that still
Yep.
gets used. It's the Will Ferrell in his robe. That's the one right there.
Yeah. What an idiot. What a loser. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also say the "Make Me a Bicycle Clown" is a very memeable moment as well.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. All right, the shot. This is a comedy, so like obviously we're not looking at like the artistic shots they do in the movie, but I would say
Right.
one of the better ones is they dissolve into the shot of the guys like, and
Yeah,
it's
they're
the
in
back of
DC.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the DC. I think they're on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and then you
Mhm.
can see the Washington Monument at the mall there, the Washington Mall. So obviously, in little subtext too, the very phallic looking object there
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So that's what I said was the best shot.
I would agree. I mean, I always love a good I love so DC both sucks and I love it because I love the National Mall and I love shots from the National Mall, especially when you're looking straight down. So I'm always a sucker for those.
Oh yeah, same dude. I love them. Um, all right, let's get into it. What age the best? I
I
think
mean,
like, dude,
weddings still,
weddings,
parties. It's a big time to get together and party.
weddings in general, man. Like
They
I
do,
think
yeah.
weddings age the best. I could also say that weddings have aged the best and the worst in this because the wedding industrial complex. And I'll
So
put that,
expensive.
dude. And Instagram has made it so
Oh,
much
Instagram, social
fucking
media has
worse.
ruined weddings because everything has to be this perfect Instagrammable moment versus
Yep.
just enjoying it now. Yes.
Yep. Even and which all it mattered before is like, hey, have some good food, have a good DJ, get some good pictures. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So like that's it. But now it's become too much more. Um and dude, I would tend to agree. Maybe like Instagram has like ruined weddings. We can just put that as like what age the worst.
Yes. I
But
mean,
wedding,
besides that and the rapey stuff, obviously. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Jeremy just getting raped. It's just like,
Yes.
that's a little
That didn't
bad.
age well. Yes.
No, 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 definitely not. I'm gonna skip over the interdimensional cable box because I'll be honest, I
I
didn't
don't have
find.
anything.
Yeah, and I don't have a ton of like casting what ifs, and honestly, I don't know if I want any.
I don't
Um,
either. I don't want the only one that, the Christopher Walken swap out. I don't want that one. So,
no, no. So I mean, yeah, that can be sort of a cop out if we want to do that.
yeah, no, I don't have anything. We're skipping that this week.
All right, cool. Standout performance. All right, let's just be real here for a second.
There's two.
It's also like it's really just like who's vying for second place anyway, because Vince Vaughn is just like
It's Vince Vaughn. He is the best male, and Isla Fisher is the best female in this movie. Yes.
100%. If we're gonna just do it like that, it's those two.
Yes.
They have the best, but I would say if I'm gonna go
Todd.
outside of those two, who would you say was next best?
Todd.
You think so? You think it's
Oh
Todd?
yeah, Todd. He's perfect. I love him so much. He's definitely the next best.
I see. I disagree. I think it's Bradley Cooper.
That's a very good one as well. I
Bradley
would give that to you.
Bradley Cooper's sack is awesome. Like you get to see Bradley Cooper be like funny, but also a douchebag and
Yeah.
cringy too. It was great, especially like like it's funny too. Like you see he's him and his buddy like talking, they're being dicks, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's sluts, man." And I was just like, Jesus Christ, these guys. I'm like, oh, it's like they're overplaying like the broiness of it, and I'm like, oh
Yes.
god. Um, all right, pound for pound, dude. This is like the most obvious pound for pound we've ever had. But I would say there's another one that's kind of sneaky. It's Will Ferrell, like by
Will
a
Ferrell.
mile.
Yeah, it's Will Ferrell.
But I will say Ellen Albertini Dow. Do you know who that is? The actress?
Is she the older lady?
Yep, that plays
Yeah.
Grandma Cleary.
Yeah, Call
Fucking
Me Cat. Call Me
amazing.
Cat. Or no, not that's not her. Yeah, I know you're talking about that. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. When she's like, when at the the dinner table scene, especially with her, because she's great. And then I just remember the one thing is like, he's like, "Oh, Todd doesn't eat any meat," and he's like, and she just goes, "He's a homo."
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like, what the fuck?
Like oh my god, you can't say that.
Yeah, but it's like
That didn't
obviously
age great, but
80
yeah,
year old
it
grandmother
yeah,
who's like
yeah,
off her rocker would say that, you know. And the way
yes.
she's talking about Eleanor Roosevelt, she calls her a big dyke or whatever. Oh my god. All right, who gets an Oscar? I mean, to me, it's really
It's
just one
Vaughn.
again. It's Vince Vaughn, dude. This is Vince Vaughn's movie. We're gonna have like a
It
clean sweep
is.
for him. Um, music moment we talked about.
We got Shout. Yep, yep.
It's Shout. You know, other good ones too, though. I like that when they're doing just introing like the wedding montage, they're doing the keep it calm and love the keep.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
They're starting
That's
to
a
play
good one
that.
too. Yep.
That's a good song. But yeah, that's really it. And double feature. So here's where I went with my double feature. You know, I still wanted to stay within the comedy realm and stay within sort of the bro comedy.
Okay.
And I thought about again, like what it looks like, because this is of course is a bro comedy, but also got, you know, involved with like relationships a little bit too. You know,
Yep.
they're interested in girls and everything. So I think like the perfect complement to this is super bad, because you're getting it from like the
That's a good
young
one. Yeah.
teenage perspective, you know, where they're just getting out of high school. There's sort of a different phase in their life, you know, they're
Right.
trying to keep their bromance going, while, you know, going apart. And that's, you know, a hard thing in life, to do, you know, especially moving from
Yeah.
high school to college. Sometimes you don't do that, you know,
See,
sometimes you do. So
it's interesting you chose that one because mine is a lot of similarities. I think of it almost as a prequel. I put Old School
oh, okay. Yeah, ish.
because it's that college kind of early. I mean, they're living at a college, so they're not in college, but a lot of the same r- debauchery, if you will.
And that one's a good one too. I think you could, you know what, I like if we were to watch them like in order, like I think the order would go Super Bad, Wedding
Super
Crashers,
bad.
then Old School, right?
Yeah.
Because Old School is guys already married and like, you know, having sort of this midlife crisis thing.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of like the post marriage, you know,
Absolutely.
relationship you have with your friends.
Yep. Yeah. That
Um,
would be what I would do. Yes.
yeah. So yeah, we could do a triple feature. There you go. Um, all right, who wins the day?
It's Vince Vaughn, dude. Come on.
Dude.
This is his movie.
Absolutely, it's his movie. So I'm not gonna have much more to say about it.
I have
He's
nothing else to say. Like that's pretty cut and dry at this point.
Yep, absolutely. He's great. He's perfect for this movie,
Yeah.
and it'll probably be his like the best performance of his career. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
I can give that. That's
um,
not unreasonable to say.
no, I don't think so either. Though low key, really, even though it's not a good movie, the Psycho remake that he was in, he's actually really good in that.
I don't think I've ever seen that one actually.
Yeah, it's a shot for
He's
shot
really
remake.
good in that movie Freaky where he swaps places with I think it's Catherine Newton's character and he's the killer. He's like this hobo killer and that he's really good in that one too. It's like a horror comedy I would recommend people watch.
Vince Vaughn, like you know, underrated dramatic actor too. Like he can be really good
Mhm.
and play up the drama. Obviously, comedy's his wheelhouse, but he can be really good at that.
Yes.
All right, letterbox score. I'll start with this one. Look, to me, this is one of the better comedies that we've done. It's up there.
It is.
It's one of the better ones that we've done. I think the criticisms I have is that they could have tightened it up a little bit. I think it could have been a little bit shorter. And I also just wish that I could buy John and Claire's relationship a little bit more. Like I can
Agreed.
buy Jeremy and Gloria's way more
Right.
just
Agreed.
because of their manic energies that they have as characters. So I just don't buy it as much. And that's the only thing that's sort of keeping this from being a 5. I give it a 4 stars.
Mm.
And I love
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
I was going 4.5 for the same reasons. It doesn't take away overly too much, but I definitely have it at a 4.5 for the same reasons you gave it a 4.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's that's fair. I demoted it 1 star because of it, not just a half. I was being a little harsher, I guess, on
No,
this.
that's fair.
But I mean, I can't disagree too much with that. So, but yeah, it's a phenomenal film. Any other final thoughts here before we head out?
No, I mean it's a timeless, a classic comedy, if you will, and it very, very good. I love this movie. It's one that it doesn't get old for me personally.
No, me either. Does not get old for me. Could they make it nowadays? Probably not, because there's some,
Mm,
some of those
yeah,
issues with it. But we can say that about a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows and stuff like that too. So, but it is a classic. It is one that I hold in high regard and will always revisit and laugh just as much as I did the first time I saw it. And
yeah,
that's what I want out of my comedies. So with that, that is it. And we are done with our first
we
episode
did it.
of 2025. 4
Took us a
fucking
while.
months. Yeah, 4 fucking months into the year. Congrats. But I will say we've got a lot of good stuff coming up. Uh, coming up in a few weeks, we will finally take a stab at the Cape Crusader.
Yes,
Excited to talk about Batman Begins,
one
Matt.
of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, me too. I think we'll have a lot to talk about in that. We've got some great stuff coming up this summer. I mean, Back to the Future, obviously, we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at Superman this year. And then I've teased this out before, but in July, we have probably one of the biggest movie
Doo-doom,
anniversaries.
doo-doom.
Yep, in my opinion, the biggest movie anniversary of all time.
Mhm.
And we will have a lot of stuff on that. Our whole month is going to be dedicated to Jaws, so
Yeah,
I'm very excited about that. But yeah, a lot of good stuff still coming up for the rest of the year. We had to adjust the schedule, unfortunately, because of circumstances. If we can put out more stuff, we will. But I think we're on a good track, Matt.
we
I'm
got
excited to
this.
talk about
We back.
Batman Begins. Yeah, we are back. Alrighty. On behalf of the Real Buffs, I am your host, Charlie,
I am Matthias.
and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
You travel the world. Now you must journey inwards. What you really fear is inside you. There is no turning back. Your parents' death was not your fault. The training is nothing. The will is everything. If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, you become something else entirely. Are you ready to begin?